need to leave. I need a son to carry on my name, and you have failed me." His voice was cold, and his words were like a spear to Mama Adaeze's heart. Her daughters clung to her, crying and begging their father not to send them away. But Mama Chidi stepped in, her eyes filled with contempt. "Go," she said. "You and your daughters have no place in this house." In a small village in Nigeria, there was a woman named Mama Adaeze, known for her gentle nature and hardworking spirit. She was married to Chidi, a man whose family was wealthy and proud. From the moment she stepped into his home, it was clear what was expected of her. Chidi's mother, Mama Chidi, told her on the very first day, "We are waiting for you to bring us a son, a boy who will carry on our family name." Her words were like a commandment. In Chidi's family, sons were valued above everything, and daughters were seen as little more than a burden. When Mama Adaeze became pregnant, the entire family was filled with anticipation. The village drummers played songs, and Mama Chidi even prepared a special room decorated in blue, confident that the baby would be a baby boy. However, when the day finally came, it was a girl, a beautiful, healthy girl with a tiny, sweet face. They named her Adaeze, which means daughter of a king. Mama Adaeze looked at her daughter with pride, but as soon as Mama Chidi heard the news, her smile faded. She didn't even bother to come and see the baby. "A girl?" she said with bitterness. "How can a girl strengthen her family's name?" Chidi tried to hide his disappointment, but deep down, he felt like something was missing. Mama Adaeze hoped things would get better, but little did she know this was just the beginning of her troubles. The next year, Mama Adaeze became pregnant again, and the entire family's hope rose once more. Mama Chidi spared no effort. She called prophets, traditional healers, and herbalists, all to ensure that a boy would be born. "This time, it must be a son," she declared, as if willing it to be true. But when the cries of the newborn filled the air, it was another girl. They named her Amaka, meaning precious. Mama Adaeze's joy could not be damped. She loved her daughters dearly. But each time a girl was born, the whispering in the village grew louder, and Mama Chidi's scorn intensified. "6 girls?" she exclaimed in frustration when the last daughter, Kelechi, was born. "What is the use of a woman who cannot give her husband a son?" The once joyful gathering in Chidi's home turned into meetings where family members would whisper behind closed doors. They pitied Chidi and mocked Mama Adaeze, saying, "The man has a house full of girls." Chidi's love for Mama Adaeze slowly faded. He began to avoid her, spending his nights outside with friends or in the company of other women. Mama Adaeze pretended not to notice, but the pain was like a deep wound that never healed. Still, she loved her daughters fiercely, teaching them to be strong and never to see themselves as less because they were girls. But one fateful day, everything changed. Chidi came home late, his face stony and his heart hardened by his family's cruel words. He stood before Mama Adaeze and said, "You need to leave. I need a son to carry on my name, and you have failed me." His voice was cold, and his words were like a spear to Mama Adaeze's heart. Her daughters clung to her, crying and begging their father not to send them away. But Mama Chidi stepped in, her eyes filled with contempt. "Go," she said. "You and your daughter have no place in this house." The village gathered to watch as Mama Adaeze walked away with her 6 daughters, carrying only a small bundle of clothes. They whispered as she passed by, some with pity and others with scorn. Where will she go? They murmured. How will she survive with all those children? But Mama Adaeze held her head high, even as tears streamed down her face. She arrived at her parents' home, where life was far from easy. Her parents were old and frail, and there was not enough food to go around. Mama Adaeze was determined to provide for her daughters, so she took up every job she could find, selling fruits at the market, washing clothes, and making clothes for people. The work was exhausting, and some nights there was barely enough to eat. She often cried in quiet of the night, wondering how life could be so cruel. But when she looked at her daughters, who depended on her for everything, her sadness turned into a fierce determination. She promised herself that her daughters would not suffer because of their gender. Years passed, and Adaeze, the eldest, showed herself to be a brilliant student. She excelled in her studies and earned a scholarship to attend a university in the city. When Mama Adaeze received the news, she fell to her knees and wept tears of joy. My daughter, she whispered, you are my hope. Adaeze worked tirelessly at the university, starting late into the night, driven by the desire to change her family's fortunes. When she graduated, she got a high-paying job in a big company and immediately began sending money home to support her mother and sisters. Amaka, inspired by Adaeze's success, opened a business selling traditional Nigerian clothing. At first, it was just a small shop in the corner of the market, but soon her design became famous and people traveled from different towns just to buy her clothes. She expanded her shop, and before long, she had branches in different cities. Chiamaka, the third daughter, pursued her dream of becoming a nurse. She worked at the village clinic, helping the sick and the needy. Her compassion and dedication earned her respect, and soon she was promoted to work in a big hospital in the city. Ungazi followed in her sister's footsteps and became a lawyer, known for defending the rights of the oppressed. Ifeoma became an engineer, breaking barriers in a field dominated by men, while Kelechi became a beloved teacher, shaping the future of many young children. As Mama Adaeze's daughter rose to greatness, the whisper in the village changed. People who once pitied her now spoke of her with admiration. Her once humble house had transformed into the largest and most beautiful home in the village, with bright colored flowers and even a tall gate. Her daughters took care of her. One day, Chidi and Mama Chidi came to the house. Chidi looked old and tired. His second wife had given him no children at all. His once proud face was now filled with regret. Adaeze's mother, he said in his trembling voice, I was wrong. I thought daughters could not bring honor. But it is your daughters who have made our family proud. Please, can you ever forgive me? Mama Adaeze looked at Chidi for a long time. She remembered the pain of being thrown out, the struggles to feed her children, and the many nights she cried herself to sleep. But then, she saw her daughter standing behind her, strong and successful, and she realized that all her hardship had only made her stronger. She took a deep breath and said, Chidi, I forgave you a long time ago. My daughters are my joy, and I thank God for them every day. Chidi and Mama Chidi were invited to stay for dinner, but the weight of their past mistakes hung heavy in the air. They saw the love and unity Mama Adaeze had with her daughters, and they realized they had lost something precious long ago. The story of Mama Adaeze teaches us that every child is a blessing. It is not the gender of a child that determines their value, but the strength of their character. Mama Adaeze's daughters, whom everyone dismissed, became the greatest treasures the family ever had. We must never judge a person by their circumstances, because the very thing we overlook might be our greatest source of pride. Strength lies in forgiveness, perseverance, and love. If you watched till this moment, thank you for sticking to African Folktales by Huje. Please don't forget to click on that red button that says subscribe, comment, like, and share with your friends. Bye. See you in my next video.